from Capital Financial Group to help us help our parents get ready for the future. Thanks for being back with us.
It's good to be here.
Absolutely. So some of us have parents closing in on the retirement years. Is there any way that we can help them prepare for that inevitability?
Have you ever had it's hard to have that conversation, isn't it? I mean, you don't want to look at your parents as getting older.
Yeah.
They don't want to look at you as you know when they're getting older, right? So they basically keep that private a lot of times.
Right.
We all do with health issues. When we know we're all going to pass away, we're all going to have hopefully a nice life, but we want to make sure to have it enjoyable. One of the things is to talk about the long-term care, what's going to happen. And long-term care, to many of us, if we visited people in the facilities, the old ones, is not a pleasant thought.
Right.
But some of the assisted living facilities now, where you can move in when you're perfectly fine, it's like a country club, and then they just move you down the hall.
Age in place,
yeah,
yes.
But that's a good way, because now you're familiar with surroundings, and when it does come time to go down the hall, you're not going to be in a scary place you don't know about. So this, like, you're sticking a toe in the water first, and then you're down the hall.
Very important. And you mentioned that is very costly. Senior care,
costly,
especially as we are all growing older and life expectancy is going up. So how do we prepare for those costs? Because they are outrageous.
Yeah, I forgot I had to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple ways. You get a traditional long-term care policy, which I have been licensed to offer that for about 26 years, and I've never offered one.
Oh, okay.
I don't like them because there's a lot of fine print there. There's a lot of things they can take away once you get in. It's not as good as it seems many times. And they can raise your premiums, and which would cause you to cancel your policy. That's the objective a lot of times. So then there's some special annuities you can buy that will give you a doubler for long-term care if you go to a long-term care facility. But the most important one that people need to know about is life insurance. I mean, everyone needs life insurance, should have a life insurance policy. In the last 5 years, some of the big insurance companies have added what's called a living benefit rider on your policy if you want it. It's really at minimal cost, if anything. And life insurance has got a lot cheaper over the years, so you might be overpaying for a policy that doesn't even have this. So we always recommend to have a look at it. But here's what the living benefit rider will do. You go to you buy a life insurance policy, let's say $1 million policy. $1 million is what gives your next of kin when you pass away. Life insurance used to be for the living, not the person who's dying. But now it's your policy. You go to a long-term care facility. They will let you reach into that death benefit and take out the cost of the long-term care facility each year. So if it's $100,000, you reach into the $1 million death benefit, tax-free, they give you $100,000 to pay for the long-term care facility. You may have only paid $5,000 to $10,000 or $20,000 for that life insurance policy. Now are you already getting a benefit from it like this, because you can take your death benefit out until it runs out. So you basically, with $1 million policy, you'd have 10 years of $100,000 coverage.
That's amazing.
Well, let's say you use it for 5 years, you have $100,000 a year, so you took out $500,000. The policy's still worth at least $500,000. You die. Your next of kin gets the $500,000. So it's a win-win. Life insurance is the only investment I know that's guaranteed to pay off.
Okay,
so we're all going to die.
Absolutely.
But we want to benefit when we're living. That's the beauty of this.
Right, right. It is nice to be able to dip into that instead of just leaving it for people, especially if you need it in your elder years. So end of life and estate planning is crucial, but it's kind of a hard conversation to have. So do you have any advice for how to start that conversation?
I've designed a book called The Little Green Book of Life. It's 100 pages long. It's interactive, which means I've asked questions, you fill in the answers, and it's all about estate planning. Where's your assets? What do you want your kids to know? Write your obituaries. Do you have life insurance? What's the policy number? What's the phone number? Because a lot of people, when someone dies, it's a mess. And stuff isn't all in one place. And there's life insurance policies you might not know about, or CDs somewhere, or safety deposit boxes. Maybe you buried money in the backyard. Write it in your book. But it's 100 pages long. I'm going to give those away in a minute on the show here. And we just ordered a whole box of them, about 500 of them coming in. So we've got a lot to give away.
Amazing. I know those will be really helpful. So let's say money or real estate is involved with that end-of-life planning. Should we get a lawyer involved? How do we keep that from getting messy?
I think it's always good to have an attorney involved. You need a trust, just a living trust or a will. You need something. You sure need your powers of attorney, and your parents do too. So it's a good conversation to have. We never want to admit that we're vulnerable, but we're all dying slowly, right? But let's enjoy life while we're here, and we can enjoy it more if we have a plan put together already. All right, perfect. So if people want help getting started on their plan, and of course to get that book, how can they get all that information? Get the book, and I'll give a golden ticket for a $1,000 value for a free retirement and financial plan and a review. So this is invaluable because it'll get you on track with a fiduciary planning team. Almost 29 years, never had a complaint for a reason. So we got all the goodies. All they have to do is call or text CBS 17 to 21,000.
Perfect, and the number is on the screen there, guys. You can also check out PeteOnDemand.com. Thank you again so much, Coach Pete.
Thanks.